Have you ever walked through a Mexican city center and heard the ambient sounds of an organ? Wondered where this now traditional musical find came from? Well, today on Feedback Learnex, we are going to learn a little more about organilleros, or organ grinders. The organ, a musical instrument made of wood with a few metal rivets, arrived in Mexico during the Porfiriato. A native of Germany, it began to be seen in the streets of the country's cities to make them musical and give them another meaning. Little by little, the songs that came out of those wooden tuners were gaining strength, thus becoming a typical sound. Entrepreneurs, circuses, and fairs were the ones who bought the first organs in Mexico, and later they expanded into the streets in the middle of the Porfiriato era, where they were rented as a source of work or to give serenades. The instrumental house, Wagner and Levine, was the first to set foot on Mexican soil with the barrel organs in 1884. Little by little, they spread throughout the territory at that time. At first, the cylinder rollers, as they were also known, were permanently installed in very crowded areas, squares, parks, and near churches, livening up with pieces and European waltzes. Later, they began to move through all the streets in order to collect more money, which is not an easy task since an artifact of these can weigh from 50 to 60 kilograms. What is a street organ like? The organ contains a metal cylinder engraved with 8 songs, which are played by turning the handle. Each organ grinder must know what songs he has, because if a new cylinder is required, recorded with different music, the cost is 3,500 pesos. Organ grinders in Mexico. Every day, music is heard coming from these wooden boxes, held by a man or woman. It is an unmistakable sound that as soon as it is heard, it is known to have reached our ears from the hand of these people dressed in beige, wandering in the most recognized streets of the country, invested by the mantle of tradition. The Union of Organilleros of the Federal District and the Mexican Republic is the association that is in charge of the more than 500 workers in the country. In addition, it is in charge of getting new instruments and people to repair the damaged ones, as it is not just anyone's job. Distinctive color. This tradition survived the Mexican Revolution. For this reason, there are many meanings that the organ grinders carries with him, as it was a stage that marked the history of our country, its population, and the interpreters of the barrel organ. It is said that an organ grinder accompanied General Pancho Villa's troops. Said cylinder wore the same uniform as the soldiers, known as the Golden Ones of the town. Years later, the Organ Grinders Union decided to copy the uniform in honor of this fact, hence its peculiar uniform. The history of the city can not only be read, seen, or savored. It is also possible to listen to it through its sounds. One of the best-known sounds is that of the organ. This multifaceted instrument was the one that gave rise to the birth of a tradition that today is more Mexican than ever, the office of the organ grinder. In 1975, the Unión de Organilleros de la República Mexicana was formed and had 120 members. At present, their number does not exceed 50 members, since it is one of the trades that has suffered the most over time, which together with the apathy of passers-by and the economic situation is taking them to the brink of extinction. The cities of Mexico and Santiago de Chile are the only cities in the world where these musical instruments are still found, which are part of popular folklore and which refuse to die. And although this trade in the voice of active organ grinders is no longer profitable, it has become a pleasant job for the love of preserving our traditions. That's it for this week's edition of Feedback Learnex. We hope you enjoyed this very historical topic and are continuing to enjoy this month's festivities. Long live Mexico!